My gardener didn't show up. My housekeeper didn't show up. You're going to have to do your own dishes or clean your own house or mow your own lawn. And oh, that wonderful produce, the organic produce you get for your brunches? All gone.
Tell us you're part of the privileged white bitch with liberal arts degrees demographic without telling us that you're part of the privileged white bitch with liberal arts degrees. Let's talk about what's going on in this country, because I feel like a lot of people have maybe moved on from this. This is why President Trump was elected. It was one of the most important issues.
Yeah.
Obviously, inflation, the economy, those have been going swimmingly, basically as far as the effects of the actions from this administration, and certainly as far as illegal immigration. The southern border right now is the most secure it's ever been. Is the entire problem solved? No. But that's a big win. This administration did really in 8 weeks what the Biden administration couldn't do in 4 years. And so now we're moving on, and people are talking about international affairs, and I get it. But I do think some gratitude would not be out of line there. That was a big reason I was supportive of Donald Trump, because this ship can't be righted until we plug the holes in the hull. And we have. So Sunday, President Trump tripled down on the issue of escalating deportations in major cities. This is what he wrote. He said, ICE officers are herewith ordered by notice of this truth to do all in their power to achieve the very important goal of delivering the single largest mass deportation program in history. It's the largest, the biggest in history, folks. In order to achieve this, we must expand efforts to detain and deport illegal aliens in America's largest cities, such as Los Angeles, Chicago, New York, where millions upon millions of illegal aliens reside. To ICE, FBI, DEA, ATF, the Patriots at Pentagon, and the State Department, you have my unwavering support. Now go get the job done, DJT! So the response, of course, from the left, and you've heard this quite a bit. We've presented montages, but I want to laser in on one person because she's the worst. The response from the left is very predictable, right? Their argument is, hey, well, if we kick out the illegals, though, who's going to do the jobs? Like, who's going to clean your toilets? Who's going to clean your house? Who's, all those kinds of jobs, because these folks are inherently racist. Just hear it from the Turtles Club lady right here as she makes the case for racism.
So I'm in my beautiful city, LA, and I have friends texting me like all morning. My gardener didn't show up. My housekeeper didn't show up. My farmer's market was closed. Everyone's scared. Well, this is not going to just happen in LA. And you 1%ers that only voted for Trump because of money?
That's not what we voted for.
What? You're going to have to do your own dishes or clean your own house or mow your own lawn. And oh, that wonderful produce, the organic produce you get for your brunches? All gone.
They'll come after brunch.
Yeah. You're going to actually have to do some work around your house. These people are important.
Tell us you're part of the privileged white bitch with liberal arts degrees demographic without telling us that you're part of the privileged white bitch with liberal arts degrees. Who's going to do your dishes? Me. Who's going to clean your house? Me. Who's going to mow? Okay, I'll let you know. I do have someone mow my lawn, but that's because I averaged out the cost. I moved to a new house, didn't have a mower, and over the course of 3 years, it ends up being about the same. But also, you just have a man do it, the outside stuff, and, I'm willing to bet she's not a wife.
Kids.
You do the dishes.
It doesn't seem
you clean the house. Not every American has other people do it, and they don't have to be brown.
Yes.
That's crossing a line, man.
Right. Yes, we can't have any
expectations. Get her hands dirty and
yeah.
I love how we lost Josh at brunch. Like, he was all on board with the deportations until he realized
she just assumed.
Yeah, now I'm like, whoa, hey, we got to take it easy here. Who's going to make my biscuits and gravy?
The tone deafness. Your organic produce and the person who cleans your house, who mops it, who does your dishes, that's very few Americans. You understand that? And here's the truth. Americans actually do want to do the jobs that illegal aliens have taken. This is something pretty important. Now, we know this through polling data, but we also have some pretty specific examples this last week. So last week, ICE raided Glen Valley Foods in Omaha, Nebraska, where there were more than, I believe it's like a meat packing plant. There were more than 100 employees who were working there illegally.
He's not happy.
What a grateful American.
That doesn't look like a farmer's market.
meatpacking slaves.
Gracias.
Gracias. I think she knows what thank you means.
Goodbye.
So that happened, and now those jobs that you just saw, right? They were made available. They're now going to be filled by Americans who want to do them. This comes from NBC News. 2 days after the raid, every seat in the waiting area of Glen Valley Foods was occupied with people filling out job applications. Dozens of prospective employees, many of them Spanish speakers, had been coming in and out of the plant all day.
There you go. Who knew if you opened up jobs, people might actually show up for them? By the way, how in the hell were they employing over 100 people illegally?
Well, this is the thing, right? It's the culture of fake victimhood, of fake virtue that creates actual victims. And I'll get to the quote of the man who was running this facility. I also want you to just a quick note before I go on to the jobs issue. For all of those people who you see that lady being deported right there, people who make it through and you see, there are some people who are just trying to live a better life here. Mm-hmm. There could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 who also were seeking a better life here, but they were intercepted by the cartels, and they're now forever a sex slave.
Yeah.
That's one thing that Tom Ullman has pointed out quite a bit in his interviews. Every single person coming here illegally across the southern border has to at least pay some kind of a fee to the cartels. Usually use a coyote. And if they spot someone with a skill or a look, guess what? You now owe them more money, or you can work it off effectively as a modern slave. Yeah. So you see there are plenty of people who were just seeking a better life here in this country as well. And because of the open borders, the drug cartels were able to pounce and destroy families. Wouldn't happen if the borders were closed. You need to remove the incentive. But going back to jobs, this is another win. 1 million foreign-born workers left the workforce. They have left the workforce since March alone. Now, that does correlate directly with a 0.4% rise in wages in May. Can't say it's the sole causation, but it correlates quite strongly. Native-born employment in this country is back to all-time highs. And that does matter because for those of you who've forgotten, under Joe Biden, when he talked about the job growth, most of it was COVID rebound, there were zero new native-born jobs. There was no native-born job growth under Biden.
Private sector.
All of the job growth, all the job growth was from foreign nationals. Foreign, many cases, I would imagine, illegal aliens, but still, none who were born here. They lost jobs.
I remember when we talked about that, I was like, this has got to be wrong. There's no possible way that is true. And then, I looked at the charts.
Right.
Just like, what?
Well, it's just like they change the numbers and go, oh, wait, we can increase the, say, the deportation numbers with the CBP-1 app. And, we can actually just put them through a process where they're no longer here illegally. Yeah. And then Donald Trump turned it to like, it can now just be used to self-deport. And that's a bonus. About 1 million people here in this country have already self-deported.
Nice.
We may see the first net outward migration in this country that we have seen in 50 years.
Wow.
Now, if we were to combine that with fixing the birth rate problem that has been thrust upon us by feminism and environmentalism, we could really head the right direction.
Well, apparently, Ilhan Omar just went on, Democracy Now? On a little bit of a screed. I don't know exactly what she said, but I think it relates to everything that's going on.
Oh, really? This is a clip?
Ilhan Omar.
Okay.
To be coming out of our country. I mean, I grew up in a dictatorship. And I don't even remember ever witnessing anything like that.
No one's clawing to get in Somalia.
Hope for the world to now be turned into one of the worst countries where the military are in our streets without any regard for people's constitutional rights. While our president is spending millions of dollars prompting
in Somalia, the military wasn't in your streets. Shut the hell up.
I know. Well, they were pirates.
I saw Black Hawk Down.
It is really shocking, and it should be a wake-up call for all Americans to say this is not the country we were born in. This is not the country
that looks a hell of a lot like.
It's not the country you were born in.
Yeah, it's not the country you were born in. It's the country that this American public voted for. They just can't help themselves. They just don't understand that it is overwhelmingly popular right now to secure the borders and deport illegal aliens, including among Hispanic legal immigrants. She just said one of the worst countries because of our military in the streets. Hold on a second. You mean these other countries don't have military in the streets? And by the way, this isn't the military in the streets. This is an operation to remove, let's call it foreign threats, foreign nationals.
Yes.
We have no ability to track. Do you think, can Mission Control get this to me? I was listening to all these Tom Homan interviews. Tens of thousands. I know hundreds of thousands or millions total, but tens of thousands in a very short period of time of Chinese nationals coming across the southern border. Do you think that happens without the knowing full well of the Chinese Communist government and, of course, the cartels who have their tentacles and everything? You think it's an accident? You think that Al-Qaeda doesn't know about the southern border? ISIS?
Right.
And I get it. I understand you're saying, yeah, but a lot of people are just coming here to seek a better life. Sure. Do you know what happens to an attractive young lady who is coming to the United States to seek a better life and the drug cartels who run the southern border spot her? What if that was your daughter?
Yeah.
What if it was your son who was being baked alive in the back of a truck? Literally baked alive in like a horse carrier, whatever you call them, horse trailer, with no windows. I've watched Tom Homan talk about this. I've watched him talk about what it is that has changed his view. When he sees the deportations, he says, okay, at least I'm stopping that. He's had to see bodies of children who were pleading for their lives. You think the cartels have things called rape trees. You know what those are? It's where they put up a trophy to let other people know how many of the young girls they've raped. Is it everybody? No. But none of it happens if there's no future for these operations at the southern border. It only happens because we encourage it. We incentivize it. And so this whole culture of fake victimhood, well, you create actual victims. I've told you this. More slaves on earth right now than ever in recorded history. Over 40 million. How do you think that happens? And has Ilhan Omar, has she counterbalanced this at all with, of course, we need to cut down on sex trafficking. And of course, we need to cut down on the cartels and offered a plan on how to do it.
Yeah.
We can all just do the moral outrage thing. Lake and Riley. The millions of people who have become indentured servants and slaves forevermore. You're mad because of a gentle deportation process, sending people back to the country whose flag they are waving in many instances?
Yeah.
We don't live in the same country.
I can't get past the fact that she was comparing the U.S. to Somalia.
Yeah.
I know.
Military in the streets. No one gets deported from Somalia.
Right.
Correct.
Yeah. This country's so bad that you literally banged your brother to get a visa so you could both stay here.
It's true.
I mean, that is the furthest length I can think of. Like, I can say, how far are you willing to go? Bang your brother? I guess pretty far. All right. You've earned your keep.
Yeah.
We think you mean it.
And nothing about this country has changed. We've always been pro-border security. We've just had administrations not do their job. We had 176,000 Chinese nationals illegally cross under Biden.
176,000, just under Biden.
176,000.
And these numbers are always low because it's what we know.
Of course, yeah. They're always low. But I don't understand this mentality, too, on the left right now, to say that our military in the streets. What did you see? Was our military shooting people? Was our military attacking United States citizens?
Right.
Was it a parade, or was it some of the security that was being provided in California to make sure that other citizens didn't have property destroyed or lives ruined, maybe ended by angry mobs of people? Because we've never seen that happen in LA before.
Yeah.
What are you really against right now? You're against America.
I'll tell you exactly what it is. Here's where they would be okay with that exact same scenario. Change it from ICE to the FBI and IRS. Instead of deporting people, they're collecting taxes. And no problem there. That's what taxes are. You don't pay them, someone with a gun comes and takes you away. They'd be completely fine with that. Here's what it is. They wanted to change the census rules so that illegal aliens could be counted in the census.
Yeah.
Guess where they live mostly? Largely blue areas, big
cities.
Blue cities. Yeah. Who, when you think of the electoral process, oh, wait a second, more seats granted, right? More representation. They are willing to not only sell out Americans, but they are willing to ignore the human trafficking, the sex slavery, so long as it buys them votes. You know they don't have a problem with using officers against their citizens.
Yeah.
Because they want you to pay your fair share. No matter what you pay, it's never enough. What do you think happens if you don't pay taxes? Does that mean it's a military occupation? I would argue you could make the case more strongly for tax collection than you could for deporting people who are here illegally. It's all fake. I'm telling you this. I used to say, don't be in the business of attributing motive, right? Don't attribute to malice what you can chalk up to incompetence. there is no case to be made anymore that this is anything other than malicious. Do you really think that Ilhan Omar, you really think that Gavin Newsom, you really think they don't know that there are more slaves on earth right now than ever in recorded history? Do you really think that they don't know that the cartel work hand in hand with corrupt, in many cases communist governments, to bring in foreign nationals and skim off the top? By the way, skim off the top is take the pretty girls, take the young kids without parents who are young, impressionable, can't really do anything. It's, oh, okay, here's a coyote. Did I say 10,000? It's 20,000. Is this where your friends live? Is this where your family lives? There's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do, by the way, if there are employers here. Oh, sorry, did I say 15 an hour? I meant 7. Does that sound good? I think it sounds good. You're literally, you're systemically encouraging cruelty. You're systemizing cruelty when you don't have a border, when you don't have reasonable immigration policy. And that's the thing that I've seen from Tom Homan really spending a lot of time. You know, it's great. It's funny because he clearly has no tolerance for the media.
Yeah.
And he said, yeah, I'm pissed off. I watched an interview. He said, yeah. He said, well, why are you pissed off? I wake up pissed off. You know why? Because we could do in 8 weeks what it took, what didn't do in 4 years. This didn't have to happen.
Yes.
Something needed to be done. And people go, oh, I can't. Can you believe Tom Homan? They try and paint him as cruel. Okay. You do his job and go look at these scorched and dismembered bodies of children that number in the thousands, and figure out how to solve that problem and not maybe have a little bit of a chip on your shoulder when people say that you're the cruel bastard out there in charge of deportations. I get it. And I like that his anger is aimed at the right people, the cartels and the governments that facilitate it.
Yeah, and we knew this was going to be a messy process from the very beginning because the media won't miss an opportunity to try to do something that makes Trump look bad, right? This is going to be a difficult process, but the polling has stayed very consistent that people want this done. Let's do it right, and do it once, and then let people come here the right way. If they want to come into this country and we want to let them in, there's a process for that. Everybody's in agreement. It could help with employment. It can help with housing prices right now. What do you tell a young family right now that just can't afford to buy a home? They're stuck in kind of permanent renter class right now because everything's super inflated. Well, if you remove about 10 to 20 million people just in the last 4 years that came here under the Biden administration, I imagine rents and also home prices might go down a little bit to become a little bit more affordable so that the American dream can happen.
Yeah. You ever have something that you need, like during COVID, right? I needed to get a car. Because the air went out. I know, but I needed to get a car because the air went out, and with twins and all black interior, I had to get one, and they couldn't get the parts. And we're going, wait, used cars are what? And wait, I guess a new car. Wait, new cars are, and there are none on the lots. How are that many people affording $50,000, $60,000 cars, which was the running price for not very nice vehicles at that point in time? I went, oh, I get it now. People don't have to worry about Mr. Taxman. So coming on here really soon, and we're going to ask him about all this and more. Look, people talk about those who've actually done something working in government and how that's important. This man was a police officer, was a Border Patrol agent, and he was a special agent in the Immigration and Naturalization Service, the INS. Then under ICE, he was a deputy special agent, executive assistant director, now I think for enforcement and removal. He's the acting ICE director. It's hard to keep track because he did a lot during Trump 1.0 and then 2.0. Now he's being referred to as the Border Czar, and I think the official title is Executive Associate Director of Enforcement and Removal Operations. That's why I will say Border Czar. He also founded Border 911 Foundation, which is a 501c3 dedicated to border security. And as I told you earlier, a good-looking chap who did some child modeling, but he also dabbled in child acting.
Nah, Mr. Holman. Where are you going? I'm going home to my mother. She loves me, even if I did deport Juanita.
He's a man of many. He's a man of many talents.
Very talented guy. Gosh. Hope he has a sense of humor.
I hope he does.
He does.
That's not me. That's not my face on Shirley Tibble's body, is it? No.
No, not at all.
No, it's not. I don't know who told you that.
Do that.
We're still waiting on him to connect.
Yeah,
he's getting seated right now.
I know. He's getting seated. He's connecting.
He's been busy deporting people.
Yes, I can imagine. Well, he's a guy who this is something that's a necessary evil.
Oh, yeah.
It's a necessary evil for him. I don't think that he wants to be out there. I don't think this guy has a book deal in mind.
No.
I don't think he's looking to go out and just chase clout on social media. I appreciate the frustration when he's asked stupid questions.
I feel it too. It's like voicing my frustration, you know?
Yeah.
He's like every man, you know. He's like, my response to it is he just gets to say it, which I love. I'm like, oh, good. Finally, somebody just saying what they think.
They can all be put together.
Yeah,
Like,
it's fantastic.
I guess I never thought of that.
That sounds very nice.
He's a guy who's actually been there on the ground and done it. And you don't really get that. I mean, Hegseth would be one of them. That's why they tried to make him out to just be a Fox News morning host.
I know.
There's something to be said for that. I mean, you compare someone like this versus a Joe Biden who hasn't seen the private sector, let alone any type of actual conflict scenario, since his mid-20s.
Yeah.
How is that guy going to know how to run those departments? And then he has a team of advisors who also have not seen the private sector.
Right.
I think Mitch McConnell's been in office since the Civil War.
I believe so too. Yes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Wasn't Kamala Harris the border czar under the Biden administration? And at one point, she hadn't even been to the border.
Well, she hadn't been to Europe either.
I know. I
don't understand what the problem
famous
is.
Comment. But I guess the point that I'm making is that I want a guy like Tom Homan. I want a guy who's seen it. Now, listen, you don't want to be the guy who's seen it, though. Like that,
no,
that
you
will
don't.
change your life. That will, I mean, you know, imagine watching the 2-hour Sicario and all of the, like, oh my gosh, the horror that you see in some of those
You've seen
things,
it in real life.
but living the reality of that daily as your job. That's the person I want on the border, because he's going to go, you're worried about ruffling a few feathers on the way out? Have you seen what's happening on the border? Have you seen the horror?
Right.
Like, not like a Kamala Harris, like, I want to do what feels good. I've never even been to the border, right? That's who you want there.
Yeah.
So thank God for people like Tom Homan, and thank God he's in that position now doing this job.
Well, it's a moral imperative. It's a moral imperative not only to secure our border, but look, and not the only argument isn't the drug cartels and the violence. Like I've told you, anywhere from $150 to $450 billion a year they cost you, the taxpayer. For many Americans, that's some meals out of your family's mouth. For many Americans, that's a trip that you don't get to take with your family. For many Americans, that means that mom has to go and work a second job and misses out on that precious time during those precious years with those kids. And for me, look, that's enough. That's enough. And I don't think it's an act of cruelty to send people back to the country from which they've come. And in many cases, certainly with these recent riots, the country of the flag that they're waving. Vagina is exactly what I would say if I wasn't here on YouTube. So go and subscribe on Rumble. Same channel where free speech is actually alive and well. Or you can stay here and the